In life, it's not just about how hard you row, it's about what boat you are in. And while many people are stuck at 4, 5, 6K a month trying to row harder and harder to increase their income, there are other people just zooming on by in a speedboat. People who frankly might be way less smarter than you, less talented than you, less hardworking than you. But they sprint past everybody else to their financial and life goals. Why? Because they are simply in a much better, faster vehicle. And what the speedboat represents in this metaphor is AI sales. Selling on behalf of established AI businesses, taking Zoom calls with their potential customers, and selling high-ticket AI solutions for $20,000 to $40,000 on average, and netting $2,000 to $6,000 per sale every single week. So, today I'm going to be walking you through in detail how the AI sales industry works and why it is hands down the fastest route to 20K a month and having the life of your dreams. This is a video, by the way, that I send out to anyone who books in a call to find out more details about my AI sales training and recruitment program. So we're going to cover the foundations of everything you need to know in order to make $20,000 a month and beyond in the AI industry. So lock in for this one. Watch until the end because somebody watching this exact same video as you right now is about to change their life with AI sales. So why can't it be you? Let's go. Welcome to the video. This is a full breakdown of the remote AI sales industry, the greatest sales opportunity of our lifetime, and most people haven't yet heard of it. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down the industry. We're going to be going through how it actually works, what your role is, how much you can earn, how I can help, and all that good stuff. So very important to watch this video until the end, because if you're watching this specific video, it means that you've booked in a call with us. And maybe we're a couple of days away from the call. Maybe our call is later today. In either way, what this video is going to do is give you some really key insights ahead of our call so that we can go straight to the high leverage topics and see how we might potentially help you. So let's dive in. Somebody reading this exact document or listening to this exact video who's also booked in a call is about to change their life over the coming months with remote AI sales, specifically making a $10,000 to $30,000 a month income while being fully remote, having that income, freedom, and security. Now, first off, I think it will be useful for you guys to have a little bit of context as to how I arrived at this opportunity and this conclusion that this opportunity is the greatest sales opportunity of our lifetime. Now, some of you might know me, others I'm a stranger on the internet and that's fine, but for those of you who have followed my journey, who do know me, you'll know that I've been in sales my whole adult life. Specifically in 2022, I transitioned to remote high-ticket sales, where you are selling remotely on behalf of other businesses who have a price point above $3,000 and they sell over a Zoom call. Now, in that industry, over the course of a couple of years, I closed millions of dollars worth of deals. I was netting average monthly income of $23,000 a month, working for some of the biggest names in the industry, including being a top sales rep on Charlie Morgan's team. And I always had a very unique approach to sales in terms of both the actual sales process, but then also on the recruitment side of things as well. I was able to repeatedly land top-level sales roles with great companies and consistently close deals once I was in there. And again, I did it in quite a unique and different way. So that led me on to building my own training and recruiting system that helps three different kinds of people. The first kind of people that it helps are existing high-ticket sales professionals. We help them to better their performance and get into better offers and therefore 2 to 5x their income. We also help complete beginners get into this space. Even if you've got no sales experience, we get you placed into a role, get you trained to an elite level. And then the third bucket of people that we can help is individuals who are working in more traditional sales roles. So you think about things like maybe car sales, recruitment, real estate, corporate sales, those kind of roles. And we help them transition into remote high-ticket sales where they can earn more, work remotely, and have a lot more freedom. Now, here's where it gets very interesting. A client of mine joined me as a fresh beginner, or should I say a fresh beginner in the high-ticket sales space, because he did have corporate sales experience, but a beginner in high-ticket sales. Now, this client, his name's Craig, he went through my process, and as per all of my clients, we got him set up with what we call our proprietary outbound engine, which in a nutshell allows you to get in front of hiring decision makers with the right messaging, with the right narrative at scale, at volume, and also on autopilot as well. Now, within just 9 days of the system going live, Craig reached out to me. He told me that he'd landed a role with an AI business, and that particular business builds custom AI agents for other businesses, so it's a B2B setting. They are doing millions per year in revenue. They charge $20,000 to $40,000, where the average ticket price is around about $30,000. Demand is absolutely exploding, hence why they're hiring and rapidly scaling their sales team. Now, the commission structure is 12% on cash collected, so any cash you bring in, you get 12% of the deal. So the average commissions per sale equals about $3,600. And that's cool, is what I thought to myself. For Craig, I was thinking, right, close one deal a week and you've tripled your income, because he used to make $4,000 a month in a more traditional corporate sales role. But that's when things got very interesting. Craig and I worked together very closely, and as per all of my clients, I was training him, I was mentoring him across a combination of group calls and one-to-one calls, really helping him dial in his script and his sales process. And then after the initial onboarding phase, and around 3 weeks after starting his calls, Craig jumps onto Zoom with me and tells me something. He shares his screen, shows me his latest numbers, and shows me he's closing 2 to 3 deals a week, which is pretty cool. Now remember, the average commission per sale is $3,600, so that equals that Craig is now making $6,000 to $9,000 per week, not per month, per week. And that's when light bulbs really went off in my head. I dropped absolutely everything that I was doing as I came to the realization that we are so early on the biggest sales opportunity of our lifetime, and you are very early in knowing about this as well. Now that opportunity is called remote AI sales, and as a lot of you might even be aware, we are in what I call the AI gold rush. Now, I want you guys to understand from a logical perspective why this is such a big opportunity, because AI is not just some buzzword. It is arguably the greatest technological advancement since the internet, and I really want you guys to logically understand why this opportunity is so big for you. Now, let's imagine, actually, we don't have to imagine, let's say, in the 2010s, 200 million businesses became active on social media. You'll see where I'm going with this in just a second. But why did they? Why did all these businesses come on social media in the 2010s? Because they had to, in order to stay competitive. This is what's called a Darwinian effect, where an individual or an entity has to adapt to remain competitive. Now, in any historical technology innovations and jumps, there always comes a tipping point where a business has to get acquainted and has to implement the new technology or face getting left behind. Otherwise, they will be at a competitive disadvantage by other competitors who are using the new technology. So if you think about this, some practical examples, in the late 90s, early 2000s, we came into a historical technology jump, where businesses had to create a website to remain competitive. Because it got to the point where all your competitors have websites, and if you don't, you're at a competitive disadvantage. So it forces you to implement the new technology, in this case, building a website. In the 2010s, businesses had to get on social media to remain competitive because, again, all your competitors are now active on social media. They're all posting content, which forces a business to also do the same thing, to implement the new technology. Now, what is the 2020s going to be? It's going to be that businesses have to implement AI to remain competitive. But here's a very key difference. In the 2010s, in that social media boom, where 200 million businesses became active on social media, the thing is, social media is very easy to implement. You create an account and start posting content. It might not be very good content, but it's very easy and cheap to implement. Now, many businesses paid social media agencies to help them, and this is what gave rise and birth to the industry of what's called social media marketing agencies, where a lot of people made a lot of money. But also, many businesses just did it themselves. They didn't hire an agency, they just got on social media themselves because it's cheap and easy to do. However, this is where it gets key. In the AI boom, businesses perceive that it's too difficult to implement themselves. So what this does is create a scenario where, number one, businesses have to implement AI in order to remain competitive. Number two, they perceive it as too difficult to implement themselves. And therefore, number three, many of them are going to pay other AI specialized businesses to help them implement AI into their own business. Now, to put this in perspective, 200 million businesses in the 2010s became active on social media. Now, let's say, conservatively speaking, that 50% of them implement AI over the coming years. By the way, that's very conservative. I think over a longer time frame, it's going to be more like 70, 80, 90% of businesses are going to implement AI. But let's just say 50%. That is 100 million businesses over the next few years who are going to implement AI, and an absolutely massive percentage of them are going to pay AI specialized businesses to help them. And there'll be more detail in just a second on what types of companies will actually hire you as a remote salesperson. Now, 100 million businesses times thousands of dollars that these businesses charge, which again, we'll get into more detail in just a second, that creates a multi-billion dollar industry just off of AI implementation businesses alone, okay? Now, I'm going to get into more detail about the specific AI businesses that would hire you as a remote sales rep, but the umbrella term that I give is AI implementation businesses. And this breaks down into a few categories, which we'll dive into in a moment. Now, in any new industry boom, in any historical technology jump, there's always two types of people who make a lot of money. You've got the business owners, which is the obvious one, but then you've also got the sales force that are selling the products and services. Now, here's why this is such a massive opportunity for remote salespeople. Because number one, these AI implementation businesses charge very high prices. And what that means is massive commissions for you. I'm talking the average ticket price in the companies that we deal with is $20,000 to $40,000, where the average commission for you is 10 to 15%, meaning that you will net $2,000 to $6,000 per sale that you close. Now, secondly, demand is absolutely skyrocketing. I can tell you, being on the inside, there is so much demand and money flowing into this industry that it's often a very easy sell. Prospects are often very, very receptive to you. They want to learn about this space. They're naturally interested in this space. So they're coming to you very enthusiastic and very much wanting what you have. Now, when you combine this together, you're selling very high price point services, which equals massive commissions for you. You're selling in the most in-demand industry in the world right now, and it will be for many years to come. And what this means for you is that because you're selling services with massive commissions, $2,000 to $6,000 per sale in the most in-demand industry in the world, that means that you have the potential to make $10,000, $20,000, even $30,000 a month, even more than that. I can't begin to explain some of the numbers that I'm seeing coming out of this space. I'm seeing guys doing over $35,000 a month. And what does that give you? That's financial freedom and financial security. Number two, you can close more deals with less time. Because you're focusing on higher value deals, which bring you a lot more commission, you're doing it in less calls. And that gives you much more time freedom. If you know, in this space, let's say that what you're selling is going to net you 3,000 commissions per sale. Maybe you're used to selling something which, for example, nets you 500 per sale. So one service nets you 3,000 per sale. The other service nets you 500 per sale. In the old industry where you make 500 a sale, you would have to make 6 sales just to equal what you would make in this industry in just one sale. So you're taking a lot less calls, and that gives you time freedom, which is great. Thirdly, you're selling remotely from your laptop. You can work from home, you can travel, you can relocate to a country or city of your choice. As long as you have a laptop and an internet connection, you can work, and that is location freedom. You can travel if you want. Again, you can relocate, work from home, complete location freedom, which is nice. Now, in terms of specifically how this industry works, like I mentioned earlier, an umbrella term that I give for the kind of businesses that we sell for are called AI implementation businesses. And the clue is in the wording that they help other businesses to implement AI. Now, really though, this breaks down into 3 subcategories that we can sell for and that hire remote salespeople. You've got AI agencies, you've got AI consultants, and you've also got enterprise AI software. Now, enterprise is a key word there. I'm not talking about selling software that's, like 100 a month or something like that. I've got a guy at the moment, a client of mine, and we got him into an absolutely brilliant role with an enterprise AI software company who sell $30,000 software packages to other sales teams. He's doing very, very well. Now, when it comes to evaluating an AI company to sell for, we're really looking for 3 main things. We're looking for, number 1, high price points. Very, very key if we want to make, the big money, the 10, 20, 30,000 a month, and we also want to have that time freedom as well. We want high price points, 20,000 minimum, ideally more like 30, 40,000. The second thing we're looking for is good lead flow, enough volume for at least 5 calls per working day. Again, we're focusing on higher value deals, so it's not something where you have to be chasing hundreds of small transactions. 5 calls per day is absolutely fine, but we're looking for that good lead flow. Now, thirdly, is a pretty obvious one, a good reputation. So they've got good reviews and customers getting good results. And again, guys, I can tell you from being on the inside, these businesses are absolutely exploding with demand right now. They need remote salespeople to come in and conduct Zoom calls on their behalf with their prospects who book in. They need people who can sell. They need people who can close deals. They need people like you. So here's how your role actually works. Now, at a high level, what happens is, number 1, and these AI implementation businesses will run some form of online marketing, which typically breaks down into 3 categories. You've got paid advertising, so you think Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, Google advertising, or YouTube. You've also got inbound, so a company might have a fairly decent organic following. Maybe they post a lot of social media content, and that generates call bookings. You've also got outbound as well. So you've got cold email, cold calling, cold social media messaging. Now, guys, I want to emphasize that don't worry, in this space, you don't have to do any outbound, no prospecting. Your job is to simply take the call, as we'll dive into in more detail in just a second. But as you can see, the company will run online marketing and all roads lead to a booked call, okay? So what happens is the potential customers, or you can call them prospects, they see this marketing, they get interested, and they book in a call. So they'll schedule a day and time for a call. Between the day that they book in the call and the day and time that they actually have the call, they'll receive reminders via email, via SMS, sometimes a phone call. Again, it's not going to be you having to do the phone call. They'll have somebody, what's called an SDR, that will do that. And this is called a pre-call sequence, okay? It's designed to, number one, warm prospects up for conversion, so build that trust, build that desire before actually getting onto the call with you. And it's designed to, number two, maximize the amount of prospects who show up to the call. And there's a metric that we track for that called show up rate. Now, the prospect shows up on the day and time of the call, and this is where you come in. The calls in this industry are conducted over Zoom in well over 90% plus of cases. You're going to take the call, you're going to run them through the sales process, and then when the prospect purchases on the call, you will collect a percentage of the deal size, which again in this industry is typically 10 to 15%. So, commission structure wise, these AI companies on average will pay you 10 to 15%. So let's say what you're selling is 20 to 40,000, company pays you 10% commission per sale closed, you'll make between 2 to 4,000 per sale for every single deal that you close. Again, on a 10% structure. Some companies might charge you 15%, not charge you, they might give you 15%. The average is about 10 to 12%, I would say, okay? Now, on top of that, you've also got bonuses as well. Now, most of these companies will also have bonus structure in place. So, for example, $1,000 to the top performer of the week, $5,000 for hitting a certain target, and typically you can earn an additional $1,000 to $5,000 in bonuses just purely off of bonuses alone, on top of your actual commissions, $1,000 to $5,000 per month in bonuses. Now, in terms of what it takes for you to succeed, there's really two things that you need. You need a combination of, number one, a good skill level. So you need to know exactly how to actually sell premium B2B AI services consistently. You have to know what you're doing. And number two, you have to be selling for a great AI company that has, as we spoke about before, high price points and a good reputation. And that's exactly what working with me is designed to give you. It's designed to train you up and give you the skill set to close deals worth 2,000 to 6,000 in commissions for you. And it's also designed to give you the system and process to land a role with a great AI company. Now, in terms of exactly how we get you to 10 to 30K a month income in remote AI sales, here's how I actually help. I've developed a two-sided training and recruiting process that's designed to, again, train you to an elite skill set level so that you know exactly how to close these deals worth 2,000 to 6,000 in commissions for you. And it's going to also get you into a remote AI sales role with a top-tier company, high price points, good lead flow, and a good reputation. The process that I use and what I call it is the elite role formula. And the elite role formula has three layers to it, which when you combine them, it allows you to fast track your success in this industry rapidly. I've had guys make over 12,000 in their very first month in this industry, which is not too bad. And it's a combination of, number one, training. So educational resources. Again, I've been in sales my whole adult life. I've been in the high ticket sales space, so selling deals for well over $10,000. I've been doing that specifically for the last 3.5 years. And I've condensed all of my knowledge, everything that I know, into around about 20 hours of training content that you can just download. Now, on top of that, we also do one-to-one Zoom calls. In my opinion, a lot of maybe sales programs that I've done in the past really lacked a level of personalization, which is where I wanted to adapt. I really, really want and believe that we have achieved the number one sales program, sales training and recruiting program on the planet. And I believe that part of the reason we can get such good and fast results is the level of personalization that we offer. Every human being is different. You might have a certain level of strengths, maybe some weaknesses, and by us jumping on one-to-one calls, we can really identify what's going to be right for you, what you specifically need. And again, this is why we can deliver such good and such fast results. But then also we'll be jumping onto group Zoom calls as well. So you'll be in a group of around about kind of 8 to 10 people. We'll be doing live role plays. We'll be doing some drills. We bring in expert guests that do a little bit of a lecture call. We'll also, once you're in a role, we'll be reviewing your calls. And again, this is a massive reason that we're able to get such good and such fast results. Now, that's the training side of things. But in terms of the recruitment side of things, number two is insider relationships. So I've built a system where we reach out to hundreds of companies daily And we essentially make deals with them to where we offer you guys, the clients, we offer highly trained and skilled remote sales professionals. I've built a great pipeline of top tier AI businesses, and they come to me because they know that I can deliver top level remote sales talent. Now, and the number of those relationships, by the way, is growing every single day, which is good. Now, thirdly, on the recruitment side is what we call our proprietary outbound engine. So you're going to have an automated outbound system that sends out tens, even hundreds of applications per day to top tier AI implementation businesses. We help you craft what we call your copy, your messaging, your script for a video pitch. And it's going to position you perfectly to actually get hired by a top tier business. What this system basically does is allow you to get in front of hiring decision makers with the right messaging, with the right narrative at scale and at volume. We know exactly how to do this. We've been doing it for years. Some people, if they try and break into this space by themselves, it's just frankly a lot of the time not going to work because they don't know how to get in front of the right people at volume and with the right messaging, whereas we do, which is why we can fast track your success. It's also completely automated as well. So once set up, you can just fully focus on training while interviews come to you, which is really, really efficient. So in a nutshell, what the elite role formula does is land you a role through a combination of our insider relationships plus our outbound system. And then it also trains you up to an elite level so that once you're in that role, you can close deals worth 2,000 to 6,000 in commissions literally weekly, potentially multiple times per week. Now, in terms of the typical timeline, this is a question that I get asked sometimes, like, how quickly can this all happen? Well, here's a typical timeline. So how quickly you'll be in a remote AI sales role and earning the income that you want, I'm talking 10, 15, 20,000 a month plus, it varies slightly based on the individual. And number one, the obvious one, how much time they put into this. So I recommend to have at least 3 to 4 hours per week set aside to focus on this. But as with most things in life, the more time that you put in, the quicker you'll see results. Number two is experience and skill level. I want to emphasize you don't have to have a sales experience to do well in this industry. Again, I've had complete sales beginners make over 10,000 a month in their very first few months in a remote sales role. But, if you do have some sales experience, if you have good baseline sales skills, you may see results quicker. But again, that's not to say that if you're a beginner that you can't do well in this space. Now, thirdly is sticking to the process, because we've built a process that is proven, it absolutely works time and time again. And all we need you guys to do is just follow the process. Follow it to a T, follow it step by step, and if you do that, you will see quicker and better results. Now, here's a specific timeline, assuming a time dedication of around 4 to 5 hours per week towards this. Month number one, you're going to go through the initial foundational training. We're then going to get you trained up on the specific B2B AI sales process. You're going to be attending some live coaching across a group calls and also one-to-one coaching sessions. We're going to build your outbound system, and then in month one, you're going to begin conducting interviews with top-tier AI businesses. Typically by month 2, you've accepted a role with a company of your choice, you've begun conducting calls, and average first month commissions between 5 to 10,000 a month. Now, by the way, guys, this is very conservative because I want to set expectations. I'd rather underpromise and overdeliver than the other way around. But I've had multiple guys make over 10,000 commissions in their very first month of their new role. Very, very first month. Okay? And then typically by month 3 to 6, we continue your coaching, continue your training and development. You go through the more advanced training. We're consistently reviewing your calls, giving you feedback, allowing you to level up your skills. And this is where we can start to hit those 10, 20, even 30,000 a month numbers. Now, in terms of other frequently asked questions, I get this question sometimes. Well, do I need to quit my job? And the answer is no, absolutely not. The longer answer is that I wouldn't even recommend it, because one of the really nice things about this industry is the flexibility. Flexibility from a lot of standpoints. You're working remote, you can largely choose your own hours. So many companies will allow you to do what's called opening up your calendar, which is just a fancy word for saying you can choose your own hours. So every company on the back end will have a calendar booking software where you basically just go into the software. It's not complicated at all, and you choose which times you're available to take calls. So for example, you might open your calendar for 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, for example. And you could just, that's just a purely hypothetical. You could do it in the morning, whenever. You can just work it around your current job. And then once your income is matching, or by the way, even often exceeding your current income, that's when you can decide whether you'd like to quit that job and transition into this full-time and taking more calls in your remote AI sales role, which, by the way, 99% plus of the time, people absolutely transition after the first month, once they see just how much more they are making in such less time. trust me, you will want to transition to this full time. But the answer is, don't worry, you're not going to have to just quit your job straight away. I wouldn't even recommend that. Number 2, will I need to have a lot of tech skills or AI knowledge? Now, the short answer is no, but the longer answer is a little bit more complex. Now, given you are going to be selling AI service solutions to other business owners, you do need to have a certain level of industry and product knowledge, but every AI company that you sell for is going to teach you exactly what you need to know. So every AI business has their own onboarding program, which typically lasts 1 to 2 weeks max. And what they'll do is they'll train you on the details of the industry and the solution that they sell. So essentially, as long as you're willing to put in the time and actually learn, you're going to have no problems on the technical side. I've had clients close deals in their very first week of taking calls without really any prior AI knowledge. Okay, so you don't need initial AI knowledge, but you just need to have the willingness to learn from the company because they will teach you what you need to know. Okay, now, where are we? So, the third question, can I really get an remote AI sales role if I have no experience? And the short answer is absolutely yes, you can. But only if you know, number 1, how to position yourself to these hiring decision makers. Again, we've been doing this for years. You know, I've conducted so many calls with AI founders. I know exactly what they're looking for, and I know exactly how to position you in front of these hiring decision makers, okay? And you also have to know how to get in front of hiring decision makers at scale and at volume, and that's exactly what working with me helps with. Again, if you don't know how to position yourself and get in front of the right people at volume, it's just frankly not going to work. But this is where I can step in and help, okay? We'll help you get in front of the right hiring decision makers at scale and volume through our automated outbound system, which is completely hands-off, okay? And then through our outbound system and insider relationships, you're going to be able to get into a top-tier AI business, and then we're going to train you to be able to sell premium B2B AI services consistently that are worth $2,000 to $6,000 in commission per sale, okay? So now, in conclusion, guys, by the way, I want to thank you very much for reading and watching this till the end. It shows that you are committed and serious about this, and commitment is all I need, genuinely. As long as somebody is truly committed and serious about this, I have the proven processes and systems that will take care of the rest, okay? I look forward to speaking with you on our call very soon, and anything that you do need in the meantime, feel free to reach out to me on my email here, scott6figureremote@gmail.com. If you do want to watch a little bit more content from me, you can check out my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/ScottParsonsSales. I'll see you on the call very, very soon. I am excited. This just might be life-changing for you. I'll see you there.